Where did you like get to? How did you know? Okay, I'm gonna do social media.
Okay.
Like where were you? How did you know you were gonna do social media? And did it just naturally happen? Were you like trying to do it?
But I was definitely trying to do it as well. I mean, like I grew up watching it. Like I grew up watching like the very first era of YouTube, like Smosh and Shane Dawson and Jenna Marbles and like the Fine Bros and I Justine and all those type of people. And I just loved the idea of kind of taking people like away from their their day or their problems or whatever they're going through, even if it's for 10 minutes and even if it's them just laughing at like something dumb I'm saying. Like that was always a really cool concept to me. And then I think actually making videos and editing and storytelling and stuff became like a passion of mine very quickly. And I was just like, I'm not gonna stop until I succeed at this because I don't want to do anything else with my life.
Well, okay, so you said something I found interesting about like wanting to take people away from whatever and then they're watching your content. Where does that come from?
I definitely grew up in a very like turbulent, volatile environment. And I think that that's kind of, and maybe I didn't know that at the time, but I think I was like, wow, like this is an escape for me. Like, you know what I mean? Like I can leave whatever's going on around me for 10 minutes of my day and laugh at like Shane Dawson saying some crazy shit. And I just like, I grew up in Vegas and I had a really crazy life.
Like born and raised?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Shit. Right.
That's
so
intense.
awful. It makes sense to kind of how I am and why I am the way I am. But like Vegas was just crazy and I had a lot of crazy stories and a crazy life and I kind of knew it. Like, you know what I mean? Especially when you'd see like other kids online in other places, I'd be like, oh, my life is nothing like that. So like maybe people would want to hear about it.
Yeah.
So I was just, I don't know, kind of narcissistic, but I guess.
Nah, whatever.
All of us have to be a little narcissistic to film ourselves and.
Yeah, I guess to a degree, for sure.
Yes, a slight degree. Some matters.
So you started making content. When did you really start to take off? And what do you think? What was the reason why you think you took off?
I started making content when I was like 14 or 15. I'm 24 now, so literally it's been like 10 years. And I took off like at 15, so probably like a year into it. I don't know what year that was. I'm bad with that. But
you took off at 15?
Yeah.
On what platform?
I was on YouTube. I was telling stories about my life, and I had a stalker since I was in like second grade. And I started telling the stalker story, and I just remember that hitting like 20, and then 50,000, and then 100,000, then a million. I was like, oh wow, like this is really happening, you know, like. And so it just never stopped. I just kept telling stories.
So that's what most of your content is, just you just talking about, like just fucking off and doing whatever
for sure, just whatever. It's evolved way. Like I think at the time I was more sharing like anecdotal stories and doing hauls and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean now it's gotten to the point where I just share my whole life, my every detail. It's just slowly got. Yeah. You know, the lines have gotten more blurred.
You know, what I find most interesting about you. You have a pretty strong female audience.
Very. Yeah. Very.
Because you seem to just not give a fuck. Like
at
you
all.
just
but maybe to a degree, to a fault.
Yeah, but like it's a really good thing. It's an empowering thing. Like what made you feel like you wanted to be that way? Was it just how you always were, or did you see
to a fault for sure? Like I've had to learn to give a fuck a lot more. Like just growing up, I dropped out of high school at like 15. I was like, fuck this, I don't give a fuck. Like I was just always that way, and then eventually I kind of had to turn that into a good thing. And then I think that I definitely went into YouTube kind of being like, I'm not a role model. Like, do as I say and not as I do. Like, please don't fucking do as I do. If anything, learn from me. But then over time, especially when you start touring and you see it in a tangible sense, like all the young girls that you are, you know, I hear like once a day if I go somewhere, like you raised me, like, oh my God, you raised me. And it just, eventually it felt like that. And I was like, okay, if I can spread one message to these young girls, it's like, you can do anything you want in this life. Like I came from nothing. I came from no money and I made a life for myself, and I'm not going to take shit, and I'm not, you know, worse than any man, and I can do whatever the fuck I put my mind to, and I'm gonna have fun and, you know, live life and have a hedonistic mindset like while doing it. And that kind of became like
you own that.